Talk about the day 1 and day 2 of Chad Daybell. His preliminary hearing was held these last 2 days, and there was a whole lot of uproar and information in regards to these hearings and what they meant and what this means going forward. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. My name is DutyRon, a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I do go live or upload a video. Welcome into all my channel members, my Patreon supporters, and all of my moderators who come on into the channel. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, all the people who subscribe to this channel, those of you who share this video, I greatly appreciate it, and leave comments down below in the comment section. Much love and respect to you, to all of you who do that. I greatly appreciate it. Guys, again, my name is DutyRon, retired New York City police detective, and we're going to talk tonight about the preliminary hearings that went on in the Chad Daybell case. This is the religious cult, him and Lori Vallow, accused of murdering her children, adoptive children, her daughter, back in 2019, and he is going to be going to trial. Basically what happened the last 2 days is the prosecution and defense got together, presented their they just touched on basics. This was not detailed. It wasn't like a trial, but it was just to prove if they had enough evidence to go forward and charge him. The judge at the end of the day said that they had enough evidence to charge him and go forward. So now a trial will commence. He will appear in district court, and it's a victory for justice for the family going forward. Now, I am a firm believer in karma, and I believe that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, I believe that the two of them were also involved in several other murders, and I think that their day and they will meet their maker eventually. It's going to be difficult to prove the previous murders. His wife, her husband, her brother, a lot of people were just disappearing off the face of the earth. And I tell you, at the end of the day, this is a difficult one at best. This is a really difficult one because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts in it. There's a lot of shady shit that's going on with these two. And I tell you, you know, these this religious cult that they were involved in is pretty much, in my eyes, these are some of the most evil people because they have no conscience. They just are possessed or obsessed. Obsessed is a better word. They're obsessed with their religion and they really believe their own bullshit. So all of this stuff, and you saw today her lifelong, or not lifelong, but her friend who she asked to cover for her with the kids, she testified to that. She was kind of mesmerized and sucked into the whole Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. So I'm going to play a quick video for you guys. This kind of just sums up some of the stuff that went on, and then we'll go over a couple of things. Definitely demons, Wilma. Definitely demons. Hello, Matty Boy Sully. Hello, Katie. Great to see you, Joey Brooklyn. Thanks for joining. Thank you, guys. Please share it out. I'm gonna show you a 2-minute video, and then I'll be right back.
The court finds, after reviewing all of the testimony that has been presented here, as well as exhibits 1 through 31, as well as the argument that has been made by both the state's defense and the state's attorney and the defense attorney, the court finds that the state has met its burden of probable cause, and I find that there is probable or sufficient cause to believe that the defendant, Chad Daybell, committed the offenses counts 1 through 4 as designated in the amended criminal complaint. I will bind the defendant over to the district court.
We start with continuing coverage right now. Chad Daybell will be appearing in district court, which means he might be heading to trial.
This comes after a 2-day preliminary hearing in Fremont County. Bree, we learned from some of the FBI agents that they took the stand today. In fact, a lot of different agencies were there today to testify, authorities from several. The prosecuting attorney spent quite a bit of his time verifying the collection of evidence from FBI officials, and at one point the state asked an intelligence analyst to read text messages between Chad and his former wife, Tammy Daybell.
This was the one referenced in previous court documents where Chad stated he killed a raccoon and then buried it on his property. This is why the FBI says that message stood out to them.
I was well aware that that date, the 8th of September 2019, was the last day that Tylee Ryan was seen alive. So upon reading this text message in which Chad appears to claim to have shot, or to have started a fire, shot and killed a large animal and buried it on his property, I recognized that it was sent the day after Tylee Ryan was last seen alive, and I became concerned.
So coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll talk about the closing arguments that led to today's judge's decision. It's a crazy case. Daybell's next hearing set to be on Friday, August 21st. That'll be at 9 o'clock in the morning.
So it looks like Friday, August 1st will be the next court proceeding. But basically, they're going to be going forward, whether he's going to take it to trial and try to plead not guilty and fight it, which is what I'm assuming he'll do. There's nothing. They have nothing to lose by pleading not guilty. But these are this is the face of a demon walking the face of the earth. If you look at this guy and you look at Lori, these are evil people who took the lives of an autistic boy who she adopted, and they also took the life of a young child, a young girl, in a very vicious, sickening fashion, all in the name of religion. All in the name of religion. So that's the sickening part of it. That's what makes it even more vicious, is that they did it not because they wanted to be criminals. They did it because of their religious beliefs. And that's what really, truly, and honest and truly is some of the most evil monsters walking the face of the earth. Do look at, I don't have to tell you about September 11th and the World Trade Center and the attacks on our country. That was radical religion. That was a radicalized religious group that attacked our great country, United States, on September 11th. So it's the same concept here, folks. But I did mention to you guys. What I did mention is that the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, is one of the most premier law enforcement arms of the federal government. And what the Federal Bureau of Investigation has in their tool shed, in their toolbox, is experts in computer forensics, expert in electronic eavesdropping and electronic forensics. So you heard testimony from one of the FBI agents, and this guy only had 6 years on the job. Okay, 6 years on the job. I'll get to the questions after I get my thoughts out. So hold your questions, Kathy and Carla and all the rest of you guys that have questions. Just hold it until I'm done with just a little bit of chit chat here, and then when I'm done, I'll do a Q&A with you guys and I'll answer those questions. Okay, but so this is a 6 year, I call them rookies. Anybody that's got under 10 years is a rookie to me. So he's a 6 year rookie, but he's got a lot of knowledge and he's got a lot of expertise and he's got a lot of training. So he talked about the scrubbing of Chad's and Lori's cell phones. It goes a lot deeper than that, because in this hearing for showing probable cause to go forward, that they can charge them with a crime, they didn't deep dive into their evidence. They didn't, in other words, they didn't expose all the evidence that they had, because it's not necessary in a preliminary hearing. All they have to do is show that they have enough to go forward. And they did that. They more than did that. Now, I will say this. the defense attorney was good in defending his client, but it didn't matter how good the defense attorney was. There was an overwhelming amount of evidence against him, against Chad, and that's all we're talking about here. We're not talking about Lori. We're talking about Chad here, and Chad Daybell. They have an overwhelming amount of evidence that he disposed of this body, of the two bodies of JJ and Tylee. And guess what? There's no getting out of that. Now, going after him and hitting him with the actual murders of these two children, that's a whole nother story. But what we have to look at here in the big picture is all of us get caught up in, oh, he's got to get charged with murder. We got to charge him with murder. And I agree. We need to, these two were definitely involved, and I don't care if she points the finger at her brother, Alex, and she says that he did it. They have cell phone pings of him being on the property. He might have helped them, but I don't think he did it himself. These two are looking to blame dead people, and that's why these people became dead, is because dead men tell no tales, right? Dead men speak no tales. Dead men can't talk. So I feel that her brother was killed because he knew what they did. His wife was killed because she was in the way, and so on and so forth. So I feel that the bottom line here is what we should really be looking at is not throwing out what he's going to be charged with and what the prosecution is going to go after him to give him the maximum amount of time in jail, and that maximum amount of time in sentencing on the two charges plus all the extra charges that they throw in. They'll get convictions on those extra charges. And he's in his 50s, right? I believe he's in his 50s. I don't know his exact age. But if they can get a cumulative of 35 to 45 years, or say 50 years, say they get two 25-year sentences, that would be the natural life of Mr. Chad Daybell. So what we should be looking at and concentrating on is what the prosecution can get a conviction on and what the maximum sentence would be based on those charges and those convictions. We can't get caught up in saying, oh, we have to charge him with that murder. It's not as easy because you need a lot to charge murder. You need a lot more than just, people do get charged with murder based on circumstantial evidence. But at the end of the day, right here is what they want is a slam dunk where they're going to get charges put forward and a conviction. And that's the most important thing at this point. Give me 2 seconds.
Who have information about this case. Prosecutors made it very clear they did not have to reveal all of their evidence, but they did reveal this, a recorded phone call between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. The past few days, we've heard from 12 brand new witnesses who have information about this case. Prosecutors made it very clear they did not have to reveal all of their evidence, but they did reveal this, a recorded phone call between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. With a
I just want to warn you that this recorded phone call is very, very distorted. It's not clear. You won't hear it great. And basically, she just asks him if he's okay. And he tells her that they're searching the property. And then she says, are they searching inside? It was a lot of bullshit. It was a lot of nonsense. But she was in jail, and she called him when they were doing the search warrant of his property. They were searching the outside. So you're not going to be able to hear it that good. Soul for Music 79, welcome home from the hospital. Everybody put some prayer emojis in the chat. Soul for Music spent a long time in the hospital, and she is home recovering. And I wish you a lot of strength, love, and positive vibes. So welcome home, Soul for Music 79. Everybody give her a warm welcome.
bulletproof vest, Chad Daybell walked into the courtroom. Past few days, we've heard from 12 brand new witnesses who have information about this case. Prosecutors made it very clear they did not have to reveal all of their evidence, but they did reveal this, a recorded phone call between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. With a bulletproof vest, Chad Daybell walked into the courtroom.
All rise.
Ready for the second day of testimony in the case against him since the FBI found the bodies of his wife's 2 missing children in his backyard last June. That same day, as investigators started digging, he got a call from the kid's mother, Lori Vallow, who was already in jail on suspicion of deserting her children. The audio quality is not good, but it's the first time we've heard the suspects communicate directly.
No.
Are you okay?
So they're searching the property.
What can I do for you?
You hear her? Do you guys catch on to that? Honey, are you okay? What can I do for you? You're in fucking jail, retard. Excuse my language. And I shouldn't probably use that word. That's not a great word, but she's a moron. I'll retract that statement, but she's a fucking moron. Honey, what can I do for you? You're in jail, lady. Give me a break.
The property.
What can I do for you?
I love you so much.
Okay, I love you. Should I try to call you later?
I don't know.
Are you okay?
So they're searching the property.
What can I do for you?
I love you so much.
Okay, I love you. Should I try to call you later?
I don't know. We can try, yeah.
Call me later while I'm in handcuffs and hogtied and dragged into the lockup. We can call each other from our respective jails. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on now. Jeez Louise. That's how demented these people are. That's how, yeah, like they're still in charge of their own private Idaho, right, Amy Co? Ridiculous. As a detective, I put people away my whole career, right? I've arrested people, 1,000 arrests. I brought countless criminals to jail, and they just have such different levels of stupidity and different levels of like delusional visions of grandeur and all of the above. These people, I'm locking a guy up for stabbing his best friend to death. And he would say to me, I'll never forget this. The guy said to me, can you tell my mom that I'll be home? I'll be home soon. Home? Guy, you're not going anywhere. You're not going home. Can you tell my mom? Can you call my mom and tell her I'll be home soon? Well, you're being arrested for murder. You stabbed your friend to death. I don't think you're going home.
Defense attorney John Pryor has not revealed what his strategy might be at trial, but he asked multiple witnesses about the relationship between Lori Vallow and her brother, Alex Cox.
It was a little more than close. They were extremely close, weren't they? He actually gave up a job so that he could be with Lori in Idaho. Is that?
So the defense attorney, with this line of questioning about her brother, he was trying to show or trying to say that the two of them were like having more than a brother or sister relationship. Did anybody catch on to that? What this defense attorney was trying to deflect, and he was basically trying to say, "Hey, it's just bizarre." Let's listen to that again.
It was a little more than close. They were extremely close, weren't they?
And her brother, Alex Cox.
It was a little more than close. They were extremely close, weren't they? He actually gave up a job so that he could be with Lori in Idaho. Is that correct?
He seemed to take care of JJ really well.
Investigators say cell phone data proves Alex Cox was in the backyard, in the same spot where the kids were buried.
Yeah, he was helping Chad duct tape JJ's arms and hands and dispose of these children in the shallow grave. I don't doubt that he was there helping them, but they planned this whole thing out, and they said, we're going to kill him, we're going to get rid of him, and we're going to blame him if we get caught. And they knew they were going to get caught. So great to see Princess Michelle. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Gayla. Alabama, thank you for coming. I watched Scott Reich today for about 20 minutes. He's a defense attorney out of Colorado. He's a great channel, Crime Time. I think it's Crime Talk with Scott Reich. I recommend his channel to everybody. He's a great guy. He's a defense attorney. So I watched 20 minutes just because I wanted to watch another fellow content creator on YouTube. I didn't have much time to watch hours and hours of this because this is a preliminary hearing. It's really bullshit in my eyes. It's not like bullshit, but it's like, I know that the state is going to prove that they have enough probable cause to go forward. The judge basically just went through the motions here today. I've been through plenty of these and I know what these are about. And basically I was going to waste 4 hours of my time, 2 days, 3 or 4 hours watching a bunch of hogwash. You know what I mean? So, I agree, Amy. He is a piece of shit. At the end of the day, this Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, whatever the hell you want to call her, they are definitely very, very horrific. Walking devils on the face of the earth. Kimby, I love Mike and Chris. Those guys are great. I've had a long conversation with Mike from Profiling Evil. That's a great channel. I can't wait to come on there with them or have them on with me one day. We have a lot of great stories that we can share with you guys and a lot of experience. So, so basically this was a probable cause hearing and, they were able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they had enough evidence to charge. And it's reasonable to say that Chad Daybell did commit the crimes that he's being charged with, the unlawful disposal of 2 human bodies and all of the charges that are added on into the criminal complaint. So let's let the rest of this play, and then we'll chit chat it up. Much love and respect to you.
Shortly after they were last seen, witness David Warwick says he asked Lori about JJ that next morning.
Thank you for the super chat.
She said that he was being a zombie. He was out of control, so she had Alex come and get him.
So the being a zombie thing and he was out of control, that was tied into their religious faith, right? And that's how she kind of justifies in her mind that she had to get rid of him because he was a zombie. That's part of the sickness. That's part of the mental illness of deep religious cult-like behavior. And she definitely is a cult mom. There's no question about it. She's, 5 husbands she's been through. And, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but she is very evil. She's freaking evil. Half Redder, thank you so much. Your take on crime is so well informed. Thank you. Thank you for being in here. Without my audience and without the great people like yourselves who are crime enthusiasts, listen, my slogan on my channel is straight talk on true crime from a retired NYPD detective. And I greatly appreciate each and every one of you here listening to my videos and, night after night when we go live. It's just, you're getting my take from a law enforcement standpoint. It doesn't mean that it's Bible. It doesn't mean that my take has to be what you have to agree to. We can agree to disagree. But at the end of it all, I am going to give you, just like when I went to Karina Vetrano's criminal murder trial. I went to her murder trial in Queens Supreme Court last year. I brought you guys my view. I sat behind the victim's mom and I gave you my view of what was going on inside that court. And I don't have to necessarily be in a courtroom to tell you what's going on. Just like Scott Reich, he's a defense attorney. He knows about every aspect of the court. He knows about, going to these hearings. He knows about asking for, time and stays and adjournments and things of that nature. So many cases get adjourned or get delayed and get, put off. And, there's so many just appearances just for discovery and different things. But this is going to be quick, and this is going to be a chock full of information that we haven't heard about yet. There's so much deep dive that the FBI has done in computer forensics and DNA, hair and fiber samples. We don't know what they found when they dug the children up. We don't know if they found DNA from, Chad, Lori, Alex, anybody else. There's so much minute microscopic evidence that could be coming into play here in this trial that we don't even know about at this point. So they're not just exposing their cards to the general public. So you could bet your bottom dollar that the FBI, the local authorities, and the investigative team, the homicide investigators, are definitely there's definitely a whole boatload of information. And you heard the grandparents when they left the court. I'll play it for you. You know what they said? I don't know if any of you caught on to it, but the grandparents said hallelujah or thank you Jesus, and then the grandmother said, I want to thank local law enforcement, the FBI, and all of the prosecution team, because they know how good of a job they're doing and how tough of a job it is. They had to see those kids. They had to recover the remains, which were mutilated, and just, I don't want to go into that here with you guys, but it's, beyond reproach. So they know the hard work that was done by the locals. Let's let this
Defense
continue.
attorney John Pryor argued that the state of Idaho did not have even close to enough evidence for this case to go to trial. The judge disagreed. If you'd like to listen to that full phone call between Chad and Lori, it is posted on our website, fox13now.com. Reporting in studio, Adam Herbetz, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Following up on what Adam just reported, you heard today's testimony. What was the defense's argument as to why the charges should be dismissed?
That was hogwash.
Well, while the defense didn't put on any evidence in this two-day preliminary hearing, the attorney, John Pryor, representing Chad Daybell, did make an impassioned closing argument, trying to point to the elements of the charges he's facing. Conspiracy, telling the judge that there's no evidence of an agreement between Chad and Lori, that they were going to conspire to conceal these remains. And there also required overt acts on the part of Chad and Lori in furtherance of that crime. He said just being married doesn't mean that they're committing an overt act or agreeing to commit this crime, really trying to convince the judge there's not sufficient evidence, not even at the low preliminary hearing probable cause standard.
Yeah, it was a joke, but, defense has to do what he has to do to try, and, he's just going to throw as much shit up against the wall as he can, the defense. And Scott Reich will tell you the same thing. Their defense attorneys are there to defend people who are accused of committing gruesome crimes. That's part of their job. I don't know how they do it, but they do it, right? So the defense is going to do anything that they can to try to discredit, find mistakes in the detective's collection of evidence. And we saw that on some high-profile cases like the O.J. Simpson trial. You had that Mark Furman, and the guys were taking evidence and putting it in their trunk and taking it home. There was a lot of things that the defense had as ground balls in the case of O.J. Simpson. So that's what a defense attorney tries to do. Hi, Crystal Harmony. Good to see you. Wilma Burr, the Gooch fam. Thank you for being in here. Appreciate you. DJ Beats. One love, baby. One love, DJ.
Ultimately, the judge, like Adam said, did not agree with the defense's argument, did not drop the charges, and now Chad Daybell will move forward in this case.
Chanley, knowing that Daybell is now going to trial, what's next in the timeline?
Well, now his case moves up from the magistrate court up to district court, felony court here in Idaho, which means he will have a new judge.
Like
the judge today set an arraignment for Chad Daybell August the 21st. That's when he will actually enter a formal plea of guilty or not guilty for the 4 felony counts he faces here. And then there will be a trial date set, although that might likely be far out from now due to coronavirus delays.
He will plead not guilty. That's a guarantee. He has nothing to lose by pleading not guilty. He will plead not guilty. That's a fact.
for jury trials, but his case moves on.
All right, Chanley Painter from Court TV, thank you so much for your coverage of this preliminary hearing.
In Granite School District, hundreds of people gathered before the school board.
All right, we don't want to hear that. I'll show you the grandparents coming out of the courthouse as they thank local law enforcement. Here's the clip. That's not it. This is it.
Hey guys.
I'll go full screen with this.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
What are your guys' thoughts after today?
One down, one to go.
The first part of justice has been completed. Short, just one statement.
We totally want to do it.
Yeah, everybody.
So these are grandparents.
We're not going to make a statement any more than that. All I will tell you is the first part of this is now completed. The first half of this completed.
I don't see that happening, Gayla.
We are extremely happy with the results of it today. Next Monday, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, I hope to stand right here and tell you the same thing. Thank you, and I appreciate everybody.
We love our law enforcers, enforcement, and DA, and everybody has been wonderful. Yay, guys!
This is what part of justice looks like for a family, for a victim family.
What are your guys' thoughts after today?
One down, one to go.
The first part
Thank
of
you, Betty.
justice has been completed. Short, just one statement.
We totally want to do it.
Yeah, everything's clear. We're not going to make a statement any more than that. All I will tell you is the first part of this is now completed. The first half of this completed, and we are extremely happy with the results of it today. Next Monday, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, I hope to stand right here and tell you the same thing.
And he will. He will. I'm confident that the federal, the FBI and the local law enforcement are going to, along with the prosecutor's office, present a good case against Chad Daybell, and I'm confident that they'll get a conviction on all the charges that they charge him with. And I'm hoping that the charges get upgraded, but don't count on that, folks. Let's look at what they have and what the maximum. I'm going to go over when it gets to Supreme Court and the official charges go forward. We'll go over, I'll do a live stream about the potential for how many years he could face on guilty verdicts on all the charges. But I want you to hear what the grandmother says about the law enforcement. I really, it makes me happy to hear that, because, you know, it tells me that our men and women in blue, the law enforcement, local, state, and federal, are doing the right thing here.
Thank you, and I appreciate everybody.
We love our law enforcers, enforcement, and DA, and everybody has been wonderful. Enforcers, law enforcers, enforcement, and
Fabulous.
DA, and
Fabulous.
everybody has been wonderful.
Thanks, guys.
God bless these two. It's really horrific what they're having to endure and what they're having to go through. It's not easy, guys. I can tell you, you know, as a law enforcement professional, when I see victims, families come forward, it's just heartbreaking to see what they have to go through, and they look to us. They look to the prosecution, and they look to their detectives to close the case, to bring justice for them, so they can get justice for their family members, so they have the family members did not die in vain. And you know, when you bring justice forward, that's that's the icing on the cake. It doesn't make it better, doesn't make it go away, but I could tell you this: it does help. It does help tremendously. Again, I want to also say prayers to the people in Lebanon that were affected by that incredible blast that we're seeing here on the screen. Amy Coe, thank you so much for the super chat. That was a horrific incident that happened earlier today. Many people were killed, so let's say some prayers for the people over there, the Lebanese people and families affected by this incredible, what looks like to be an accident. So let's just say prayers for them. There was one more thing I want to show you live Facebook. This is just a little bit of what I want you guys to see. Some of this testimony.
Got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times.
All right, this is the young FBI guy. I want you guys to hear just a little bit of this young FBI agent. He's very smart. He seems to be on the ball, and he's the forensic guy. He did the computer scrubbing and the phones, and did a lot of behind-the-scenes research for the investigators.
These were long messages, and that you found. So why don't we
days following 2019. So, in other words, they're up until October 18th, SMS messages were both received and sent from the device.
So he's talking about the messages from the phone.
And then after the 18th of October, there were no further outgoing.
Can you guys hear him okay?
Messages from the device.
Were there any incoming messages from the device?
There were.
And when did that date end, sir?
There, I believe in the days following late October and also into November, I would say that there.
I could answer that question for you, Jamie, Texas chick. She says, I want to know who shoots a raccoon and buries them in their backyard. Just not normal. That's a liar. That would be Chad Daybell. His excuse for saying that there's movement at the cemetery. They have a pet cemetery in their yard, and he figured that that would be a legitimate story to cover his tracks. And when in fact he buried those two young children there. So it was a lie. The audio's low, Mary London, and there's nothing that I could do about it. I have it on as high as I can.
Were periodic incoming calls to the device.
It's because it's from the court and it's through Zoom, so I can't adjust it.
Okay. Do you have an idea about how many?
I'd say between 10 to 20, just an estimation.
Were those included in your report?
Not all of them.
I'm sorry. Were those included in your report?
Not all of them. I made reference to items that appeared on the phone with dates after the 18th in general, but I do not comment in detail about the numbers and timestamps of them.
So why don't we talk about the emails in the same range? If you could give me the identifying dates on the range of the emails and then all of the other forms of messages that came in, I would appreciate if you could go through those.
During the entire length of the activity of the phone, or just after the 18th?
No, what I want is that you talked about text messages, you talked about emails, and you talked about instant messages. Were there any other forms of messages that came through that phone?
Not that I can think of at this time.
Okay. At this time, or are you still looking into that?
The device can be reviewed in the future, but at this point, I'm not aware of any further.
Okay, very good question. So the defense attorney was asking him if there was anything else on that device. And his answer was perfect. He looks like a deer in headlights here. But basically what he's saying is we've obtained search warrants, subpoenas from the court. They don't just go and look through phones just to look through phones. They had to do it the legal way. So they got a subpoena, they got a search warrant to search through the phones and the devices, and those devices are there to be reviewed at any time by the FBI and any investigative branch that's investigating this case. So I think the defense attorney was just trying to see what they had and try to get as much information. They're going to have to give everything to them before trial. Discovery is going to have to be given over, and it'll be hundreds and thousands, maybe, pages of discovery. So all the stuff that they have is going to be given over to the defense. I wasn't really 100% sure his motivation for that, and I think it was just he was just going through the motions because he knew that he had nothing to. He didn't really have ground to stand on. He couldn't have proven that they didn't have enough evidence to convict him. The children were buried on this guy's property. He was deceiving. He was trying to, he was uncooperative. They both were lying through their teeth every step of the way, and there was really nothing that was going to come of this preliminary that was going to make Chad Daybell walk away from this. You see how the attorney at the end said, I think you should dismiss all the charges against my client because you don't have enough, and I feel that he should just, are you kidding me? Whatever you're smoking, I don't want any of it.
Categories of messages.
Okay, so let's go back to my original question. Well, one of my original questions is now give me the date of range for the emails now, please.
May I consult the...
Absolutely, please do. Take whatever time you need, sir.
I'm not sure if it was iPhone or Android, but it doesn't matter.
For the record, the witness is reviewing his...
But I do not have the date.
Did you refresh your recollection?
I did. So in this report, I don't include the entirety of the items. It would be a very, very long report. What I did was I included selected items. So I have the date range for the selected items, but I do not have the date range for all the emails total on the device.
And the decision to decide which items you were going to include, was that your decision, was it not?
It was.
So the determination as to whether you thought it was important or not in terms of which emails you provided to the prosecutor and ultimately to me was based on what you thought was important. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Okay. And what I'd like to ask you is that if we go from July 29th to October 18th, we're looking, sir, at approximately
Sweet crazy,
80
that's
days.
the defense job.
In your testimony where you said that these were long messages and that you found that unusual, that in an 80-day period, this message was a lengthy message. So you're making the determination that based on an 80-day period.
Judge, I'd object to the form of the question. It's getting into a compound.
Well, I'm trying to explain, Judge, and if
I think you need to be able to be asked one question at a time.
Mr. Pryor, I'll let you lay a little bit of foundation for your question, but if you can be more concise and limit it to one question.
The range for the emails was 80 days, correct?
For the SMS messages?
SMS messages was 80, the emails. The SMS messages.
Let me just say this. On this message thing with the lengthy message that he gave to his wife, to Tammy, he sent a long-winded message to her, but what they're trying to show is that all the previous messages were all just one-liners or one word. They never communicated in more than 2 or 3 words back and forth, like on my way home, okay. Like it was short little messages. And then this one on the day, I think of, or the day after they buried the kids there, he wrote out this big long raccoon message, I shot a raccoon. And so the prosecution was showing that, like here he's trying to cover his ass. He's trying to cover his tracks. So, yeah, we all want to slap him, sweet crazy. So he's kind of trying to cover his ground with a big song and a dance. Don't forget, this guy writes books and about his crazy religion and all the things that he does. So he's a good actor. He knows how to orchestrate, or tried to orchestrate some ridiculous concocted story. And the defense attorney knows that that's what they're trying to show, and he's trying to make it seem irrelevant, which it isn't irrelevant. It's actually very relevant because it shows that he was making a story up to cover what he did. So
It was 80 days, is that correct?
Around 80 days, yes.
Okay, and in 80 days, you made the determination that this was the most lengthy of the messages, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
From between Chad and Tammy.
Right.
Sent from Chad to Tammy.
Now, were there instant messages in this as well?
There were text messages or SMS messages. There were multimedia messages, and there were emails that also had content. And I don't believe there were indications of Facebook activity on the device and the use of Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
But the
all right, so like again, I'm gonna spare you guys because I'm sure most of you have gone to other channels and listened to this in its entirety. I'm not gonna go over it all. I just thought that was a significant thing to listen to from the FBI. This was, about the computer forensics and how they can scrub phones, whether it was an iPhone or an Android. We'll hear about it at the trial. For those of you who are very curious about, oh, I hear on Facebook that you can't get information out of an iPhone. Once you delete it, it's gone. That's bullshit. FBI and NYPD's computer crime squad can get anything out of any type of device. So that's another wives' tale that people listen to Facebook postings and all kinds of garbage. If they need to get it and they get a subpoena, they're going to get it. If they get a court subpoena, they'll get whatever you sent in that phone, even if you wipe it out and put it back to its factory original. If one of these computer forensics guys get a hold of it, all of your nudie pictures and all of your text messages and all of your lewd and crude stuff that you do on your phones is going to always be there unless you smash and burn it or throw it into the ocean or, burn it in a fire or have it compacted in a garbage compactor or melted down in an incinerator. That's the only way that you're going to get rid of it. But if they actually have the device, you can scrub it and put it back and set it to factory settings all you want, but they'll get it. So I know this to be true because I saw it happen. I've seen it actually in live done right in front of me. I worked for 6 months in computer crimes in the computer crime squad. New York City Police Department has the largest computer crime squad detectives in the United States, behind the FBI. The FBI has a larger squad, but they're federally funded. But the NYPD computer crime squad is the largest computer crimes squad in the United States. And I worked for them for 6 months. Anyways, that being said, here's the grandparents. I felt so bad for them, the bits and pieces that I saw of them over these last 2 days, but especially today. Like, I feel just so horrible for them. You could see the looks on their face, even though they're covered with the masks, how anxious they are and how, how just troubling this is all to them. So it's really bad, But anyways, I'd like to just say quickly, I hope each and every one of you consider subscribing to my channel. Here it is right here, all one word, DutyRon. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all one word. Consider my Discord group where you can get lots of great behind-the-scenes information. My police and crime Facebook chat group, consider joining that because we have a lot of different conversations going on over there. A special thank you to my moderators, all of my super chatters, my Patreon supporters, my channel members, and anybody that has given super chat during the course of this live stream. I don't like to make them long and draw them out, so 40 minutes is enough for me, 49 minutes. Darlene, great to see you in here. Thank you so much for being in here. Jamie, Texas Chick, Alabama. I know you said you left another live stream to come here. I'm honored that you did that. Joshua H., thank you for your behind the scenes work. Guys, I have a candidate tomorrow who's going to be on my channel 3:34 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. a candidate who's running for New York City mayor. I don't want to give his name up, but I'm going to have a special half-hour interview with a New York City mayoral candidate. He's going to come live and talk about what his campaign and what he's going to do to bring the city back under control and get these homicides and murders and all of the crimes that are going on in the city back under control. I'm going to have him on my channel 3:30, 4 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. I'll do a video pre-promoting it, so I'll start a live stream maybe an hour before, and you guys can jump in. It's he's a former New York City police officer, and he is running for New York City mayor, and he wants to come on my channel, and we'll do about a half hour. We'll do some Q&A, and I will ask the tough questions. I'm going to ask him a lot of tough questions. I'm going to ask him what he is going to do to change and turn this thing around, if it's even possible. So look for that tomorrow on my channel. Much love and respect from my house to yours. Anybody with any last minute questions, I think I answered most of the questions. I don't have a magic ball or a crystal ball or a magic wand, so I don't have all the answers and stuff like that. But I do certainly, I'm there with you guys. I feel like Chad and Lori should be charged with murder. I know that they murdered more than just 2 children. I know that they were involved in the murder and disappearance of her brother and his wife. I know that these two aren't just, this isn't their first rodeo at this, and I think Chad has been possibly killing people for a long time. So Sophia Howard, thank you so much for the super love. Appreciate that. Thank you for that super chat. She says, DutyRon, you're the man. Thank you, Sophia. I really feel that this isn't their first go around at murder. I don't think that they just tried this out with the kids. I think they've done it quite a bit in the past, at least him. And I think she is equally as evil. She's gone through 5 husbands. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all subscribing, and much love and respect from my house to yours. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And more importantly, God bless each and every one of you. Stay safe out there, and good night from New York City. Hunter, you missed it. I'm sorry. Darlene, great to see you. Thank you. Judy, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Yeah, he's a grave digging pro, no doubt. Matty Boy Sully, everybody, thanks, mods. I'll talk to you